In today's video, we will discuss whether or not the Orlando Magic will ever be a good basketball team. But before we start, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Now, without further ado, let's get started. In 1989, the Orlando Magic was created and added to the NBA as an expansion team. In their debut year, they drafted Nick Anderson with the 10th pick from Illinois, who had just won both Mr. Basketball and College Player of the Year awards. They finished that season 18-64, which finished 7th in the Central Division. The next season, they had a much better 31-51 record, but of course missed the playoffs yet again. Then, in the 1992 season, they ended with a 21-61 record, but things would soon change from there on forward. In 1993, the Orlando Magic selected Shaquille O'Neal with the first pick of the NBA draft. He was immediately one of the best centers in the league, even winning Rookie of the Year. Big Diesel averaged 23 points and 14 rebounds while also averaging a ridiculous 3.5 blocks per game. Shaq was an absolute monster, and even though they finished with a 41-41 record, that just happened to be the best season in franchise history, and they were ecstatic about their bright future, and rightfully so. The next year, they finished the season 50-32, which placed them second in their division and qualified for the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. Not only was Shaq extremely dominant that year, but this was also the same year the Magic drafted Penny Hardaway. Hardaway averaged 16 points and 6.6 assists in his rookie season for the Magic, and it was clear they were going to be a great duo moving forward. During the playoffs in the first round, they faced off against the Indiana Pacers. They struggled and were unfortunately swept in just 3 games. Next season in 1995, the Magic were out for revenge and finished the season 57-25, and after a great playoff run, they found themselves in the NBA Finals. Even though Shaq averaged 28 and 12, and Penny averaged 25 points and 8 assists, they were swept by Hakeem and the Houston Rockets. In the following 1996 season, they were swept yet again by Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals. And just like that, Shaq's time in Orlando had come to an end, but not because of the loss in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the offseason, Shaq was a free agent. He was out seeking max money and wouldn't accept anything less. Although the Magic had the money and could have easily brought the Big Diesel back, they refused and even threw lowball offers at him, which understandably frustrated him. That would prove to be the biggest mistake the organization has ever made. Their refusal to re-sign him led Shaq into the hands of the Los Angeles Lakers, and we all know how that turned out. During the 1997 season, the Shaqless Magic still had a solid season. Penny Hardaway averaged 20 points and 5 assists, and their forward Dennis Scott averaged 17 points while shooting 39% from 3. They finished as a 7th seed in the conference and were eventually defeated by the Miami Heat in the first round. It was clear that they made a huge mistake in letting Shaq go, and they were paying for it big time. The next season, they missed the playoffs. Fast forward to the year 2000, they would sign Tracy McGrady on a 7-year, $92 million contract. Tracy definitely lived up to the money. He averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists in his debut with Orlando, and finished the season 43-39, which made them a 7th seed. Unsurprisingly, they were defeated in the first round by the Bucks. In Tracy McGrady's second year with the team, he led them to a playoffs yet again, but of course they didn't make it too far and were beaten by the Hornets in round 1. That next season, they were also defeated in the first round. Things would begin to change in Orlando, and in 2004, they drafted none other than Dwight Howard with the first overall pick. Although they missed the playoffs, he still averaged 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game. And yeah, it wasn't Shaq-type numbers, but it was still impressive nonetheless. In Dwight's sophomore season, they missed the playoffs yet again, but his numbers were steadily improving, averaging 15 points and 12.5 rebounds this time around. Next season, they would reach the playoffs, and then, what seems like a tradition by now, they lost in the first round, 4-0 to the Pistons. Next season, that would change, and they finally made it to the second round before losing to the Pistons again, 4-1. During that playoff run, Dwight averaged 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 10 games, showing just how dominant he could be. He would prove that times 10 next season. In 2009, the Orlando Magic were now in the NBA Finals facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. Although they lost in 5 games, Howard averaged 15 points and 15 rebounds while also being great on the defensive end, averaging 4 blocks per game and even having 9 blocks in Game 4. That would be the last time the Magic ever made it to the NBA Finals. And yes, they did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals the next year, but they wouldn't ever get close to reaching the finals again. Between 2012 and 2018, they would miss the playoffs every single season. As of now in 2022, things are looking bright once again. And yes, we know the Magic are at the bottom tier of the conference and are statistically one of the worst teams in the league, but players like Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, and even Wendell Carter Jr. are exciting building blocks moving forward. First, let's talk about the rookie Banchero that the Magic selected first overall. In his first 5 games, he's averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. The 6'10", 250-pound kid is without a doubt the most NBA-ready prospect of his class by far. He honestly doesn't look like a rookie, both because of his physical size and the calmness of his game. Banchero is sort of a mix between Julius Randle and Carmelo Anthony if we had to give him a comparison. He has elite footwork already, and match that with his 250-pound frame, and you have a post-up powerhouse. He has immaculate balance and impressive court vision, and many are calling him the greatest talent the organization has had since Tracy McGrady. And after watching him play, it's not hard to see why. On to Franz Wagner, the second-year player out of Michigan. He's averaging 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in his first 9 games this year. He's an excellent teammate if anything. Wagner does whatever it takes to win. He can shoot, pass, defend, and plays with a very high basketball IQ. The good thing is he's only a couple years older than Banchero, which is obviously amazing for the team. Jalen Suggs was taken with the 5th pick in last year's draft, and he definitely didn't live up to the expectations. Last season, he averaged 11 points and 4 assists while shooting 36% from the field and 21% 3 while only playing 48 games. For the start of this season, he's been playing with entirely different energy, especially on the defensive end. And yeah, he was already a solid defender in his rookie season, but it seems like he's taken more pride in his hustle and defense to start off the season. For the Magic's big men, they certainly aren't Shaq or Dwight Howard, but Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. are 2 solid young bigs who are pretty versatile as players. Cole Anthony brings a lot to the table as well, and if he can continue to get better in the shooting department, the Magic might be onto something down the road. We can't forget players like Chuma Okeke, who's a really good defender, and Bol Bol, who as of recently is playing like an even better defender. One player the league has forgotten about, Jonathan Isaac. And yeah, we know he hasn't played in multiple seasons, but many forget just how good he was. Isaac was a runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year and was even thought of as being the best defender in the NBA. The 6'10" wing was one of the few players in the league who could legitimately defend all 5 positions at an elite level. And in today's NBA, that is crucial. Reports are still unclear when he'll be back on the court even after 2 years, but given the Magic aren't going to be contenders for at least another 2 or 3 seasons, his comeback is something we should all keep our eyes on. That brings us back around to the title of the video. Will the Magic ever be good? Well, the answer to that depends on your definition of good. Now, can they be playoff contenders soon? Sure. They have the perfect combination of youth, talent, and hard workers, but before they truly become a threat in the NBA, Banchero has to become a superstar, which is obviously going to take some time. What do you think? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Did you enjoy the video? If so, hit the like button and subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing NBA content just like this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.